This is another review on for September 15, 2019, 1 Corinthians 2, 1-16. God actually gave me like a 100% proof for how that He is real, and it really did get me from the point of convincing faith to like faith that I absolutely 100% believe in. And when I read this, I remember it just stood out to me that God's message are to the spiritually mature, and when you accept God, then you are born again, so you become like a baby in faith. So you have to start learning how to use your spiritual faculties. But only when you're spiritually mature can God give you more. He had already chosen that secret wisdom for us even before the world was made, and that is like salvation through Christ. Right here, what no one I couldn't imagine that I would be going through a psychotic episode, and much more that psychotic episode would bring me closer to God. But really, God chose to do work through very unique ways. And the Spirit searches, Holy Spirit searches the hidden depth of God's purposes. And for those who want to know, the Spirit will make known to us what God's purpose is. So yeah, our spirit knows everything about us, and God's Spirit knows everything about God. But then we receive God's Spirit when we believe in God, and so we know about God. And the Bible promise or states that we are able to know all that God has given us. I think the thing is, are we willing to or not? But that's just my thinking. And I found here, when we explain spiritual truth, it's only those who have the Spirit will understand us. Otherwise, it sounds foolish. And I've experienced it. There are many times where I see connection, and I try to explain it to my mom or to my husband, and because they didn't go through the same experiences I do, but it's hard to understand if we don't have a common basis. So the same way, we can only explain spiritual truth to those who have the Spirit, because we have that common denominator between us. Otherwise, it's kind of like a cat talking to a dog. Right here, they seem to be nonsense. If we don't have that in common, when we try to explain stuff to people, because their value, they won't understand us, because their value can only be judged on a spiritual basis. And whoever has the Spirit is able to judge. I think this verse actually stood out to me a lot when I was reading it, and it's standing out to me still. Whoever has the Spirit, however, is able to judge the value of everything, but no one is able to judge him. And so with God's understanding, we can see things and we can judge the value of it. Is it worth our time? Is it useful? Is it good? But whoever doesn't have the Spirit, they don't see the same way we do. And we are able to judge because God gave us his Spirit, and his Spirit knows all things. And so when we are at that level, then we are able to judge values, and people who don't have the Spirit cannot judge us because they don't have what we have. Who knows the mind of the Lord? Who is able to give him advice? No one. We, however, have the mind of Christ. The spiritually mature, that is, have the mind of Christ. And so we are able to know the mind of the Lord. But I still think we are not able to give him advice. God allow us. That's a privilege. We can petition him. But I still, even though we have the mind of Christ, and we are able to know the mind of the Lord if he chooses to let us have it, or if he chooses to reveal certain knowledge or understanding to us, and we are willing to accept it, but we are in no position to give him advice, I don't think. I'm not sure though, like what God has to say about that. So how does Paul describe himself in verses 1-4? That he is like trying to say the message and try not to rob it of God's power, and he was trembling, I believe. Yeah, weak and tremble all over. And he didn't use skillful words of wisdom, but with convincing proof of the power of God's Spirit, and God's Spirit does give powerful proof. So just how humble he is. What does he say? Enable God's Spirit. Why is Jesus central? Because that's where God's power is. What is God's secret truth? God's secret truth is that he has a plan of salvation for us, and that Jesus' death will bring us salvation. And God's secret wisdom is for those who are spiritually mature. He will give understanding. But let's check 7. Wisdom is God, which is hidden from human being, but chosen for our glory even before the world was made. Okay. I guess the secret wisdom is to trust in Jesus Christ. I'm not sure. Why was this wisdom hidden from the ruler of the world? Well, it says that if they knew it, they wouldn't have crucified Jesus. So for Jesus' crucifixion and God's plan to be unfold, but it's also I think partly because the ruler of the world doesn't want to know about it. Is such wisdom? No, we know God's plan of salvation, and we have a choice to choose to obey him or not, accept his Spirit or not. What does Paul say? God's Spirit searches God, even the depth of God's purposes. And like God's secret truth, God's secret wisdom. God's Spirit reveal to us God's secret truth and prompt us to accept Jesus Christ. Sovereign God, you are the source of all true wisdom. Enlighten me with your spirit so that I may grow stronger in faith day by day, learning more and more about you and trusting in you and your